I hate doing these types of videos, but at this point I don't know what else to do. YouTube destroyed this channel and I'll explain how in this video. Basically, I've been forced into a corner and now the only options are to bite and bark. Since there's not enough power to bite, the only thing that remains is a suppressed bark. Suppressed being the reason why this video was even made. Have to warn that to participate in any sort of discussion about this, or even to give thoughts be positive, negative or neutral, you need to watch the whole video to understand the situation fully, otherwise don't bother. All of my reasonable limits are in this video and I can't promise I won't go nuclear in the comment section if someone wants to act dumb just for the sake of it. It's my livelihood in the end that I've put 10 years into this channel, and to even be in a situation like this hurts a lot. YouTube has been doing this for a long time now, but I never thought it would happen to me. I know why it has happened and I know when it started to happen. Don't know what the consequences of this video are gonna be, but if you watch the video you'll come to the same conclusion. What else can I do? I don't want to do these types of videos. Not why this channel is here. But when in the last 6 months I've earned from $160 to $200 in total, not per month, for all the videos done in the last 6 months starting with Dragon's Dogma 2, then something is very wrong. If I was slacking off and doing fuck all, I could blame myself only. I looked at the type of content that I was doing, which was the same as it was done before, and decided to change some things by adding more of other content types by focusing more on reviews and topic videos, but it's looking worse and worse. Some might say you're not doing guides anymore as often as before, and they would be right, but not doing guides as often anymore is a consequence of YouTube suppressing the channel. Imagine having over 80k subs and guide videos getting 200 to 600 views, with some going over 1000 and only 4, if I recall correctly, in the last 6 months over 10,000. Playing RPGs is a huge time investment. Doing guides for them makes it at least double the time investment than just playing through. So I've decided to be more picky with the games covered through guides because it ain't worth it, and to cover some games through reviews only. I'll go over the last couple years of videos in the dashboard and you try to pay attention to views, specifically this year versus all the others, but even the last year except Baldur's Gate 3 versus the years before. Starting with this year, then going back slowly to a few years back. It's easy to see that this year's views are terrible for almost anything I do in comparison. Black Myth Wukong and Space Marine 2 reviews have 1000 views when we add both. Dead on arrival. Just look at Elden Ring builds views versus Elden Ring DLC builds views. Look at the traffic sources. YouTube search is the most prominent difference. In well-viewed videos it is insanely high. In low-view videos it is somewhere around browse feature percentage. Browse feature means homepage and subscription feed, which is one of the problems currently. If I'm having high percentage of views coming from homepage and subscription feeds today, when a lot of subscribers don't even get the notifications that I exist, which I'm gonna get to later, it means that I'm completely screwed. YouTube search is more important for me to get good views because I'm still a guide-based channel, so when someone types in something like Elden Ring Samurai build, my video needs to be somewhere prominent. If I'm not there, then only other prominent view sources that exist are suggested videos and subscription feed homepage views, which in 2022 still brought decent numbers unlike today. Around 35,000 browse feature views for Samurai video, and that is fine. However, if I wasn't prominent on YouTube search, then videos won't get many views outside of subscription-based view numbers, and this year those are much lower. Witch King of Angmar build for Elden Ring DLC is a good example when browse features of this year are one of the more prominent view sources. Views are terrible. If it had 10k to 20k browse feature views, then that would be realistic for such a video, for such a game. Check out another Elden Ring DLC build video that has 800 views in total. Witch King of Angmar has around 2000. Now look at the view sources for this video. Heavy view percentage from browse but very little from search. That means video simply couldn't or could barely be found on YouTube search. Witch King had almost 3 times the views because of search, but it was still shit number because video wasn't prominent enough and or could be found on search engine for a brief period only. We do have to be realistic about the games covered too. Games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring are much stronger in name than others. CRPGs are this channel's most prominent games, so comparing Baldur's Gate 3 to something like Rogue Trader is not realistic. Rogue Trader was the first game that made me aware that this problem is becoming too big to ignore. CRPG that would usually explode on the channel went nowhere views-wise. These are shit views for a game like that on this channel. For comparison, unknown JRPG like Chained Echoes had much better views than Rogue Trader, which shouldn't be. Octopath Traveler 2 has pretty much the same amount of views as Rogue Trader, and I'm not known for covering JRPGs. Check out Wasteland 3 build and Rogue Trader build, both games that are in reputation and style similar. Traffic sources tell the whole story if you look closely. Let me explain. Wasteland 3 is from 2020, and at that time I started focusing more on reviews and doing streams, but the channel was working as intended still, without any suppression. Look at browse features and how many views I got from that source on a highly viewed video. It is a very successful video, and with so much source coming from browse features because many more subs at this point receive notifications one way or the other, be it homepage or subscription feed or somehow else. Subs boosted the video instantly, and then it continued to be successful on YouTube search too. Suggested videos also exist in this tab. Suggested videos as one of the more prominent traffic sources I haven't seen in any of my videos where I looked into traffic sources for years now. Now check out Rogue Trader build low view video from 2024. External sources are main source of views, so it means that it is from other websites. Browse features being second the most important view source in 2024, when channel is suppressed and many subs are not receiving any notifications and don't even know that the channel exists. Video is dead on arrival. It has no search strength and subs can't push it because many didn't even see the notification or can't see it anywhere else. Let's check more successful build video for Oak Trader with 10,000 views in total, which is still not good, but at least it's not below 1000. Look at YouTube search compared to the previously mentioned build, the only possible view source that can accumulate views at this point in time. YouTube search is not something I can affect. It's the algorithm that affects it, and the algorithm is driven by engagement, watch time, impressions through click rate, and similar things that can be boosted by subs being notified through notifications, sub feeds, homepage, and such to instantly drive up traffic if they would even know that there is something to watch in the first place. Subs more often than not gonna bring more engagement than non-subs. In short, subs can give the video a head start, which can then help with search. It's one of the reasons why highly successful YouTubers can easily stay successful. This video in particular is one of rare examples of a decently viewed video this year that made it to some degree into the search engine, even though realistically it had low views for such content on my channel. Without search engine success it would get around 3000 views maybe. Before, lots of my videos had good browse and search strength, not just 1 out of 20 like today. Even reviews and preview videos of before have more views than the recent ones. More and more it's starting to happen that videos can't even breach 1000 views. That type of regression is not natural, unless something behind the scenes is happening. Guides being the most affected video types. Reviews a bit less, but now even that has been severely affected. All of this has a point, and it is to see how weak the video exposure has been this year and most of last year, aside Baldur's Gate 3. Browse features being the most interesting analytic. Even high view videos from 2020 had lots of browse features views, meaning from subs and occasional channel visitors that would have my channel somewhere as an option, be it on homepage, subscription feed, suggested video to click on. I was an option. To some I still am today, but less and less. Browse feature views of today are so low that if the video is depending on that, it becomes dead on arrival, unlike before. With YouTube search being significantly weaker over time, my videos have no chance to reach the audience that they could. If my content sucked, that would be a different story. But content of today offers so much more in terms of more quality reviews, at least as good guides as before, and with added ramblings of a Madman series that I will most definitely continue. So what could be the problem? Now we go into the why and how. Couple years ago I started streaming and doing fair, no bullshit and no bias, unless specified, reviews. On stream I am pro free speech and allow all topics, which end up often deep discussions and occasionally brilliant discussions with free thinkers all over the world about various topics that are today deemed controversial. Sometimes these discussions end up being deep as a puddle, but that's the downside. Let me ask this, what isn't controversial today though? Censorship exists to stop people from talking about things, so that there's no thinking involved or quality backend for discussion, because the consequence of rational people being involved in discussions usually opens minds of all participants at least a little bit, so that they reach the conclusions themselves, or so that their worldview or specific topic view is challenged to an extent. That's not good for any of our rulers, because open minds exacerbate the ruling elite's ability to control. Allowing such discussions has created a small community of various freethinkers that have a place to share their thoughts without being shunned immediately, and it is one of my most proud life's accomplishments, because I always wanted to talk to people from all over the world about many things, to learn about other cultures, way of life, dominant topics, problem solutions, and similar things, with all topics included. People that will challenge me all the way, because it's the only way to learn and become better as a person, and better in covering topics on the channel. I never wanted, nor will I ever want, blind fans. By the way, I don't consider blind fans people that are thankful for guide videos that actually helped them. That's a different category. Constructive criticism beats sucking up and being fake every single time. Constructive criticism for this channel is always welcomed, on this video included, on how to improve things, but we haven't covered the how yet. First time I noticed strange comments was about 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. Sometime after I've started to become more open in reviews and streams. Look, I'm not a person to mince words or a feel-good YouTuber. That means by being more open I have alienated a lot of people probably and lost many subs, but also gained a lot more that aren't offended by every little thing. I have over 3,300 videos on the channel and most videos have over 90% likes versus dislikes. Probably old guide videos have much lower ratio than that because they sucked, especially the starting ones when I wasn't even editing the audio. Why am I mentioning the ratio? Because even the most hardcore videos are in the positive, where I split the fans of certain games, and I like the fact that there are dislikes in such videos, because I know I'm not dealing with the blind fanboy army. On the other hand, some people act like babies at times, and as soon as they hear something they don't agree or don't like, they unsubscribe. To those I say good riddance. To those who disagree, say their constructive piece in the comments and stay to hear more, all the respect. That's the difference between man babies and adults. So what did those strange comments say? More and more comments started saying that even though they were subs for a long time, they didn't receive any notifications from the channel. They found some new guides for current games through the search engine and were genuinely surprised I was still here and active. Like I didn't exist for some time until they've stumbled onto one of the newer videos. I didn't pay much attention to that because I didn't know what to think. Channel was doing okay and I was focused on the work because at that time it still paid off. Subscriber engagement was always very low on the channel, so it wasn't that big of a deal because videos were getting decent exposure on the search engine at that time and there was a good amount of views coming from browse features. But what I thought of being low during those years is unreachable today. Thinking back at that time I already started losing views bit by bit in an unnatural way, but I thought nothing to worry about. These comments were becoming more and more frequent, especially after this video where I talked about the new policy of double taxation courtesy of scummy YouTube and the scummy USA government. Duo for the ages. Basically this reduced my income by around 30%. I've also turned off memberships and super chats because they were taxing that too, so for every membership or super chat I'd get maybe 35%, if I recall correctly, of the total amount. So if someone would donate $10 through super chat, I would get 3 or 4, with everything else going to YouTube and the USA government. Unless the double taxation changes, I will never turn those back on. YouTube already takes 45% from every channel on YouTube, but it is something I have accepted as terms of service. YouTube also takes 30% from super chats and memberships, unless it has changed recently, just because they can, but alright. Even that is something that can be accepted no matter how unfair it is because the platform needs its fees. 10% would be fair, but YouTube and fair doesn't go into the same sentence. However, I am not about to sponsor goddamn USA government through my work by paying them 30% from super chats and memberships. Go fuck yourselves. I'm not letting you steal people's money off of my work. Can't do anything about the double taxation of the channel income, even though I might have a solution for it soon, but I sure as hell am not gonna allow this secondary bullshit. How is this double taxation allowed is something to be asked too, but I don't have an exact answer. Something with YouTube being registered as a certain type of a company to avoid massive taxation, but then USA changed the law to tax YouTube, and of course who ends up fucked the most but the content creators. Same old story. Check out subscribed versus not subscribed. This is nothing strange, as it is typical for a guide channel like this one to have low subscriber engagement because I change guide content from game to game. Question is how many subscribers actually get the notification that the channel has new content. This weekend my sister's husband was scrolling on YouTube on his phone. He is subscribed to my channel and his notifications enabled. 3 videos in 2 days and he got nothing. He got nothing for a long time, but I don't know how long exactly. It's like the channel doesn't exist. My girl on the other hand gets all the notifications. Read some comments on streams and videos that they had to manually type my channel to find it, even though they are subscribed with notifications enabled. Bigger problem is that videos are not getting any exposure anymore, so they can't start strongly to get into the algorithm and drive up traffic like it was happening all the time before. Subscribers can offset that problem if YouTube is suppressing the exposure of new videos, by driving up the views themselves, which can then help the video to start off strong, but if the majority of subs cannot be reached and have no idea that the new video is up, then everything new is dead on arrival. If video has no reach and is being suppressed on both sides, then there is no engagement and watch time, which kills the video in the eyes of the algorithm. Algorithm suppression and inability to reach subs means no views. No views means no influence. No influence means I can't get keys for games, which is already a big problem, but not gonna get into that unfair world now. More importantly, no views means no money. No money means I can't do this. $200 for 6 months. Kids in sweatshops earn more than that. It's depressing, it hurts, and there are no options. There are no other platforms out there to go to. Even if everything is exactly as it is now, it would mean 10 times less money, which means I would quit instantly, because no one can survive on that. And that is if I could even reach the subs to join me elsewhere, which I can't, obviously. So what can I do? I'm forced to have Patreon, subscribe, start donations on streams open, have merch to sell, and I don't know what else. I hate that. Don't want those things at all. I've been working on this channel for 10 years and was successful, at least to survive like most people on average paycheck. And now I have to have those additional things to collect mercy from people that appreciate the channel and are incredibly supportive. With such a small community, financial help is limited because people have their own problems, meaning they can't keep donating all the time. And it's not their bloody job to finance me after all. It is YouTube's. You bastards have helped a lot though. When I needed a second monitor, you went all out. When I was collecting for earthquake victims in Croatia, you donated. When I needed a new GPU, you donated. And that's next to many other times. You gave me more than I could ever deserve. But that's not your job or your responsibility. I'll do my best to continuously produce new stuff to at least give something back, but it's getting more problematic than ever before. You bastards are the counterweight that still keeps this ride going, and I will never be able to thank you all of you enough. Situation is dire though. I'm forced to look at other venues of income because earning less than a minimal wage in Zagreb in Croatia is not an option to survive for long. Can't keep borrowing money also. So I decided to monetize things that I know something about by starting adaptive boxing and kickboxing training for beginners, for people that want to learn without the danger of being forced into the fire and getting hurt because of the trainer's inability to balance things. I've also got in contact with a very helpful person that is in the business of photography and event videos, so I have to improve my video editing skills to get a chance for an occasional project of editing weddings or other events. Do I want to do that? Fuck no. This channel is what I want to continue doing. I deserve fair treatment like everyone else, but totalitarianistic tube don't like that. I'll have to balance these 3 jobs, but working the way I do on YouTube takes a lot of time, so that means the channel is going to suffer more. It is a vicious cycle that I don't see at this point a way to break. Sick of YouTube and problems with it. First, my mate and I started HD Play gaming channel, and we were the shit back in the day, started climbing fast. Competition channels like MK Ice and Fire and Throneful that have millions of subs now off of the same type of content were way behind us. But then Konami shut us down by giving us 20 or 30 strikes at the same time for every Metal Gear Revengeance video we published before the embargo. We fucked up. But we should have received the strike and that's it to continue working. Not 20 or 30 instantly. Channel got shut down for 6 months and afterwards couldn't get any views on anything anymore. That's when I left HD Play and started RPG Division. Next to RPG Division, I have a channel for kids that has gone through troubling times after being incredibly successful for about a year, around 7 years ago or something like that. After that it has been demonetized a couple times, but not because of anything I did. It was just YouTube and kids content nonsense where everyone was put in the same basket unfairly. Now both RPG Division and that kids channel earn about the same, which is low amounts, and on top of that both are taxed for 30% additionally, like mentioned earlier. I'm sick of it, and it's starting to get to me, which I can't afford because of the damn disease. By this time, with the things I've done, I deserve at least to be alright financially with an average pay and not have to worry about surviving. No Patreon, subscribe, start donations, merch or any of that crap should be necessary. So often, however, I get pushed back so hard by the powers that be. At what point something changes? As Vas would say,
did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy.